teleportation powers, this will come in handy. Gadzooks! Humans flying? They must have superpowers too. So, Dave, how does this wind tunnel function?
So upstairs we have four 400 horsepower fans. They push out a lot of air, moving quickly. It's then turned 4 times. So it turns the wind, comes down through the outside of the building, comes in through the basement. It's then squeezed and comes up. And that gives us enough speed. We can control the speed of those fans. So that gives us enough speed to fly bodies. The way that flying works is the amount of surface area in your body. The more surface area you have, the more lift you're going to have.
I see. And is that also how you control how high and how low you go?
Exactly. So we use arching. So it's basically with your body surface in the wind. If you bend your head back and push your hips forward, you have less of your body in the wind. If you come forward again, you have more of your body in the wind. So it's just trading off the amount of your body in the wind. So you can turn with lots of different parts of your body. In the beginning, we like to start turning with the hands because it's a pretty simple movement. When you turn your hand, the wind hitting you deflects off in a direction. So if the wind hits you and your hand's at an angle, it's going to deflect off, and then that resultant force is going to push in the opposite direction. So as the wind hits you, it bounces off in another direction, comes around. So you can turn one way and the other.
It's so simple. I thought you had superpowers. So Christina, you run a STEM workshop here. What's all that about?
It's about bringing science into the wind tunnel. So it's teaching the physics of flight and how objects actually can reach their terminal velocity. We do different balls, vortexes, different objects, and we get students to actually predict what speed they will go. So they actually calculate that, and then they test it and experiment it, observe, and then conclude on their findings. So we have tennis balls, basketballs, googly balls, we call them, the vortex, and we even do water. So we show what actually happens to water when it reaches its terminal velocity. So when you put water in the tunnel, it actually separates into smaller particles due to the surface tension, and it reaches that terminal velocity. What we want students to be able to do is predict, but do it in a practical way. And learning about this, it stems further to like flight training, things like that. Like we test parachutes, we test cyclists. There's so many applications for wind tunnels, and this is just one that can actually bring science, physics classrooms into the real world.
Well, this is all very interesting, but I think I'm going to have to test it out for myself for a proper scientific conclusion.
Excellent, let's do it.
Was interesting, but if I did have the power of flight, I'd probably fly too high and experience freezing temperatures and low oxygen levels. Yes, I think teleportation is a much better power for me, but I don't seem to have too much of my serum left. Oh well, time to go and put my world domination plan into practice.